Aries, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead. Now, keep in mind, these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there as well, which will offer you a more complete picture. Okay, my friends, let's get started for Aries and see what is the current energy around Aries for the week ahead. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What's the energy around Aries this week? Okay, Aries, you're getting quite a few interesting messages here. Let's have a look here. Bottom of the deck is the Peace card. So that's sort of giving me this feeling that feeling at peace with yourself, having that inner peace is going to be really helpful for you this week. And to try to find some happy moments for yourself where you don't feel like you have to sort of know all the answers by yourself. Seeing this co-create card with happy, that, both coming through in the reversed position is interesting because that sort of makes me feel like you might be trying to do everything by yourself. And, you have a powerful ally and partner in the divine. And so seeing that co-create card is really one that's suggesting that it might be time to kind of tap into that deep knowing to see if that will help guide the pathway for you this week. It feels like happiness is sort of sitting in the balance. You might be feeling like you've sort of lost some kind of inner happiness that you've been able to sort of have within, that this idea that we choose to be happy even in moments that are challenging, and seeing here that maybe this week that's been the challenge, to find that inner happiness, to sort of feel at peace within might have been a challenge, or it feels like it's challenging you for this week ahead. And it's interesting because, next to it we see this regeneration card. So it really feels like something is coming to life. And it feels like it could be something that you might be getting a second chance at or another opportunity at. This might be something that you've tried before and maybe you didn't have the resources or the time, or you didn't have all the understanding that you do now. Perhaps things have been integrated since you tried this the first time and you're now starting to see, I understand now. And so it's interesting. Seeing this co-create card is giving me this feeling that it's really time to tune into that deeper knowing about how to sort of bring life back to something that you tried once before. And it may now be getting sort of more momentum right now. And it's interesting. It's sort of like you may be feeling like you don't know where to begin. And so instead you may be opting to sort of not do anything because you're like, well, I don't really know how to get this moving again. And this is really that time where it doesn't all have to come down to you. If you're feeling too overwhelmed to sort of take the first step or to even know what that first step is, you might find that the inspiration will start to flow again as soon as you sort of reconnect with your higher self, reconnecting with the divine, even praying for inspiration. Sometimes prayer can just be a nice way to formulate our correspondence to the universe and to say, show me my inspiration. How can I, find that inspiration again within, and then to be open to receive that answer through signs, through synchronicities, through things starting to line up again. And it kind of feels like you're being directed to try something again when I see this regeneration card. There is sort of this emphasis right now in this happy, happy card that says, try not to take things too seriously, in the sense of, if you're starting to feel like you don't have your inspiration, you're not sure how to get things moving again, and it's disturbing your inner peace, well, it might be time to sort of lighten your mood in a sense, and have some fun, maybe play, laugh, do something else. Like sometimes that is enough to sort of shake off that energy that says I don't know. It's sometimes by enjoying ourselves doing something that makes us happy, it can lighten our mood and lighten our energy so that we're more open to receive that inspiration than we would be if we were really, really feeling the intensity of this. It almost feels like a lost feeling when I see this co-create in reverse, but I'm feeling very hopeful because I see deep knowing, I see regeneration. So this feeling of sort of, maybe stumbling in the dark, not knowing how to begin, not feeling inspired, not knowing how to tap into our inspiration, that feels temporary, Aries. I feel like if you can sort of almost change the mood completely for yourself by doing something else, going out and having some fun sometimes can just be enough of a release for us to sort of change our vibration so that we can sort of align with that inspiration and change our mood, change our emotions, our thoughts, and be open to this inspiration. Let's jump into the tarot cards and see what messages you'll receive, Aries. Very interesting start to your reading. Sort of feels like not being able to tap into something that you're almost trying too hard to tap into, and as a result you're unable to receive the guidance that you're looking for. And that happens, when we're really wanting something to move. Sometimes we need to actually put it down for a minute and focus on something else, to bring in that receptivity to our inspiration. Yeah, Three of Swords in reverse. So we might be hanging on to past disappointments. We might be hanging on to the past disappointment of this idea that we had not taking off the first time. And that might be what's really bringing you down, is that you might be saying to yourself, well, I tried before and it didn't work. I tried doing that and it didn't work. And it might be that you're over internalizing that experience to say it'll never work because it didn't work once. Then you might be saying, well, forget it. That idea's out. Scratch it off the list. And it's actually something that you might be thinking is efficient to sort of be like, no, I tried that. I'm not trying it again, and crossing it off and moving on. But it actually seems to be affecting you in a way that it's like, it's hurting you. It's hurting you to do that. That's hurting your feelings. It's hurting like it's almost like it's internalizing. You're personalizing an experience and saying, because I tried once and it didn't work, that means that'll never be something I can be good at, or something I can do, or something that I can see regenerate. And yet here's the card. And your deep knowing. So it might be time to sort of reconnect with yourself and say, why am I so quick to label this as a no-go just because it didn't work once before? It's interesting. You might be sort of really getting in your own way a little bit here, Aries. Yeah, and there's the Hangman guiding you to sort of look at things from a different perspective, and to trust and to surrender. The Hangman has tied himself willingly here to the Tree of Knowledge. And so when we see this card in reverse, you can tell that, he's looking at the world from a different point of view. He's looking at things with a fresh set of eyes, and that might be exactly what you need to do. You might need to sort of look at this situation from a fresh perspective that says, just because I tried it once and it didn't work doesn't mean all hope is lost. It almost feels that heavy. The energy in your reading feels really heavy, like all hope is lost. And yeah, very pessimistic. There's the Ace of Wands in reverse. So you might be feeling like no, like you're sort of giving your thumb down to this and saying, nope, that won't work. It didn't work before. And last time I tried and it didn't work, it really broke my heart. So I'm not going there again. And it's almost like your reading is saying, well, why don't you just try it from a different point of view? Perhaps if you partner with your higher self, as this co-create card encourages you to do, you'll find that inspiration. You'll find that missing piece of the puzzle that you might not have had access to the first go around. This really feels like a reading of second chances for something that is going to bring a lot of change into your life. There's the Knight of Swords. So it's really a time to sort of feel that fast moving energy that comes in to change things so that whatever is stagnant, whatever is not inspired, whatever is pessimistic and sort of refusing to surrender gets shaken up. You know what I mean? And that Knight of Swords brings in significant change. And there's the Hierophant coming through for you, reminding you that you're not on this journey alone, my friends. You're not on this journey alone. And there is this sort of counsel you can seek. There is this sort of divine connection that you can tap into to say, I don't know where to begin, and to guide me, show me. Those are some affirmations I say sometimes when I feel that way. Show me, guide me. I'm open to receive. I'm ready to receive guidance on this path. And I fully surrender to the divine to show me and guide me the way, show me the way, show me the path. And then to be open when you see something that is like a message or a sign, to try it, to see, if you, perhaps one of the messages from this reading that you could try is this idea of sort of putting down the notepad for a moment when you're trying to think about how to get something moving, and to go out and move your body and move your mind in a different way, to go do something that makes you laugh, something that makes you, feel genuine joy and lighten your spirit, you know what I mean? And then come back to it and see, perhaps you'll have an idea. Perhaps that experience will have opened the door. Sometimes we get so focused on something that we sort of get tunnel vision and we can't see what's going on around us that might be trying to help or guide us. So it's interesting, Aries. I feel like you almost just need to, and sort of not to escape how you're feeling, seeing the devil. So that tells me that, by overly focusing on this and by getting tunnel vision, you might be really playing into your own patterns that don't serve you. And so you're sort of getting this message of like, don't let one moment that didn't pan out derail you from trying again, and from even trying the same idea again, because things may be in a different space now. You may have different knowledge, resources, experience. There may be different people in your life that might be able to partner with you, collaborate with you, be an inspiration to you. This tells me, when I see this that you're almost playing into your old patterns by sort of seeing things as pessimistic as this Ace of Wands in reverse. And that might be some shadow work that you need to do to say, just because something didn't work doesn't mean that we start saying a narrative about ourselves that's not true, like, negative self-talk, or being very critical of ourselves, or being very judgmental of ourselves, and sort of giving up. That might be part of your vice. And so it's interesting to see that come through for you. Bottom of the deck here is the Emperor in reverse, which is Aries energy. And seeing it in reverse says to me that you're not trusting yourself enough. You've sort of lost faith in yourself as being someone who can lead something. And you might have stepped into the shadow a little bit here as a way to sort of it's like you're saying, well, there's all this evidence that says I can't do something, so I guess I can't do it. And that is such a sort of a limited place to put yourself. And it almost needs some time maybe to bring yourself out of that, by doing something that makes you happy, by changing your energy into a more lighter space, because it feels like you're headed into the shadows here. You're headed into the darkness. You're headed into a place where you don't trust yourself to be who you are. This is Aries energy right now in reverse. So it kind of feels like Aries needs to shake this off and to tap into the divine, to remember that you don't have to do everything by yourself. And to also remember that just because something didn't work once upon a time doesn't mean that it is forever off the table. You know what I mean? So let's clarify some of these cards for you, Aries. As I part the deck, I'm seeing the Page of Wands and the Knight of Swords. So it's like, your definition of what works for you and what doesn't work for you might be changing. I feel like there is a big change coming in here for you. There's the Lovers coming out with the Nine of Wands and the Ten of Wands and the Five of Swords. So that tells me that in an attempt here to be very authentic and to stay in your authenticity and to make choices that are in alignment with you and your truth about who you are, it's like you've burnt yourself out. I think that looking at these cards here, you need some time for self-care. You need some time to sort of realign yourself, because I feel like, you've set some boundaries here that are almost, like I said, they're giving you tunnel vision. Like you're not able to see past a certain outcome. That's what's going on here. You're not able to see past a certain outcome, and you feel like that this means you're going to have to keep carrying this burden forever. That something didn't work out, and you're sort of like, well, if that didn't work, then the whole plan is kiboshed and I'm back to square one and I don't know where I'm going, and I guess I'm just going to have to do this all day, toiling back and forth, but it almost feels like you don't see the end in sight. Like there is this light at the end of the tunnel here for you, Aries, and I feel like it's actually a light that's coming from the divine to try to guide you maybe in a different direction towards doing something that you may have literally crossed off your list. It's very interesting, and I feel like there's this air of defeat when I see this Five of Swords. It's like you feel completely defeated, and you're just, like it feels kind of lost. Aries, what's going on here? Yeah, there's the Hangman again, coming through, this time upright, saying, look at things from a different perspective. Try not to have that tunnel vision when you look at your life, because you're almost putting yourself in a situation right now where you're aligning to an idea that says, I'm always going to be defeated, I'm always going to be sacrificing, and nothing ever works for me. And I feel like that is a signal that there's some shadow work to do, to be like, why are we holding on to a narrative like that? Why are we holding on to a belief system that says, I can't, right? And I feel like that's something that needs your attention. And look, there's the Three of Swords again. So very, very consistent messaging here for you, that you've overly personalized an event in your life to say, well, I guess it's not possible. And it's caused a feeling of defeat, and it's altering your your vision of possibilities. I think it's narrowed your vision of the possibilities, and you're starting to think that you don't have any options. But look at this. You've got the Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck, Aries. So, I mean, if I've ever seen an optimistic sign, it's right here. And it's overflowing. This Ace of Cups is overflowing to bring in peace and harmony and abundance and joy and alignment and purpose and love, unconditional love. And so I feel like you might be feeling defeated and lost right now, but I feel like this week is going to show you a light. But you have to be open to seeing it. You almost have to step out of the shadow for a moment so that you can see that there are possibilities even in what you've tried before. That something that you have been disappointed by, maybe you might get a second chance at it. And I think that you just have to be sort of open to that and to see that you can look at this from a different perspective, and maybe that will help you see that light. And also by just not focusing so much on this, like by changing your focus so that you're actually having some fun, you're getting out there and you're enjoying yourself. You're not just focusing on this one disappointment, this one moment of defeat. And putting this strong boundary around yourself that says, well, I guess I'm always going to be stuck doing whatever, and I feel like that whatever is something that you don't actually want to do. It's something that you feel is a sacrifice of your time and energy, and there's something else that you desire, something that you feel like is a choice that's in alignment with you. But I feel like you just need to tap into that higher power, that send out your prayers, send out your, ask to be shown the direction, ask to be shown the pathway. I'm going to leave it at that for you, Aries. I got to say, this has been a very interesting reading. I hope that it has resonated and been helpful for who it's resonated for. And I look forward to reading for you again soon, my friends. I'm sending you so much love and light. Thank you so much for all your support on the channel. Please consider subscribing, liking, sharing. If you would like a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description below. And I'll see you very soon for another reading, my friends. Take care.